Yo, what's going on guys? Sekapoko here, bringing you another Genshin Impact video. For this, we'll be going over Resin, and what you should be doing daily with your Resin, depending on your adventure rank, and what you should not be doing. Definitely should not. So let's go and jump into it. So for Resin, there are some things that you really need to know early on, mid-game, and late game. And now these are the things that you definitely should grind out throughout the progress of the game so that you make sure you're using your Resin efficiently. Question I get asked at times is, should you get Resin refills if you are a pay-to-play player? And the answer is, if you are looking to progress very hardcore, Resin refreshes are the best possible way at the very end game when you get to adventure rate 33 plus, all the way up to 35, 39, all that, in order to get yourself more adventure XP. You're going to need to use your actual Primo gems to refresh your Resin. Yes, that is what you will have to do. Should you do it if you're free to play? Absolutely not. Do not do that if you're free to play. They are your resources for pulling. You need them for pulling. So let's go over the things you can use your Resin on as an early game player. So when you first start the game, there are these things that come out that are called the Cryo Regis, the Hypostasis for the Animo Hypostasis, etc. These are the things that you guys should be farming when you're prior to rank, adventure rank, I'd say 25. Everything pre-25, these are the primo things that you should be running a lot of the time. You shouldn't be running them all the time. You should probably run a mixture of these as well as running the weapon upgrade materials so that you can actually awaken your weapons a little bit more. Now, you don't need to run the weapon upgrade materials. You don't want to run them to infinity, but essentially once you get to the adventure, I think it's adventure rate 25, you get this one unlocked. At that point, you're pretty much set on running adventure any of these anytime you want to for upgrading your weapons as needed. And this is actually a pretty efficient way to use the resources. I think it took me like 5 runs and I had enough to get all of the weapon upgrade materials for one of my weapons. So it really wasn't that much Resin to actually upgrade one weapon fully. So I was very impressed with the amount there. Of course, there's 2 different kinds of domains of forgery, so you should be ping-ponging between those 2 as needed. And I believe for any type of epic weapon, the upgrade costs for ascending any kind of purple weapon, I believe it's 3 green at the start. Let me go look. I have a weapon right here, right? Yeah, we're working on this one next, by the way, for the next video. It's going to be 3 green, then the second one it's going to be 3 blue, and then it's going to be 6 blue, and then finally 3 purple. And that's how it's going to be for 4-star weapons. For 3-star weapons, I actually don't know. It's a lot less, I think, maybe 2. But for legendary weapons or 5-star weapons, it is significantly more. So if I go to my official here, and I go to what it requires a total of 9 of these, whereas if I want to ascend, say, the Rain Slasher over here, it's going to take me a total of 6. So the rarity of the weapon is definitely going to affect the amount of resources you're going to need for each of these. Farming each of these resources is really only valuable prior to getting to the next rank. If you're at a point like myself and you're at like adventure rank 38 and you're really close to the next tier, you probably don't want to farm too many of these. Try not over farm these for the next tier unless you really want to ascend your weapons on the first second when you actually unlock this. I probably will be farming some of this a little bit, but I will most likely be waiting until I hit adventure rank 40 to get better drops, just because I know I'm going to get more stuff. Now, one of the things I definitely do not recommend anyone farm, and I've done this dozens of times, so I know that it's a bad idea, is to farm artifact dungeons. Artifact dungeons are the literal freaking worst. If you get their 1 copy of your artifact, great, but it is literally the worst. Now, if you don't know about artifact dungeons, they unlock at, I think it was like adventure rate 30 or something, and then they unlocked another tier at 35, and then 40, and then 45, as you can see here, for higher rank rarities. I don't really recommend most players, unless you're really just bored and you need something to grind, and you want to get a better set of gear, to grind any of the artifact dungeons at all. You shouldn't be grinding out any of them at all. They are not something you need to grind until you hit at least adventure rank 35, at bare minimum adventure rank 35. And even then, I'm doing it right now, and I have, I have regrets because my RNG is bad. The RNG required to get pieces that you actually need for your sets is pretty freaking high. So running these for artifacts is probably not the best way to go. The best way to get artifacts, by the way, if you're looking for very high tier artifacts, is going to be doing the abyssal, clearing yourself more more stuff in Spiral Abyss and trying to get the legendary artifacts there, getting all the Geocluses so that you can get a legendary artifact there, etc. If you didn't know, if we go into Spiral Abyss, currently I'm at 10-2 on the Spiral Abyss. I can just abandon that right now. And I finished every single floor. But if we go to the reward preview, we actually get legendary artifacts from floors 6, 7, and 8 if you actually want to get some 5-star artifacts. If we go into the higher abyssal floors, you can see that you actually get even more there, and these will actually reset weekly. Bi-weekly. Every 2 weeks these will reset, so you have, of course, 7 days and 6 hours to get these complete for all the stages. You only have to complete them. You actually don't need stars to get to complete. The only thing you actually get for getting more stars is being able to unlock the next level, or you need to you get more primo gems, which is kind of nice. So just know that you're not going to get a ton of primo gems of these. You just get a smaller amount, but you do get a lot of other resources. Thing that I definitely recommend all players, every single one, to grind out, which is so painful and literally the most painful, is when you hit, I believe it's adventure rank 30 or something like that. I think it's like 26 or 30. When you unlock the 3rd version of this, I don't remember what level this unlocks at, but if you know, you on your account. Whenever the 3rd version unlocks, the 2nd and the 3rd version are pretty close together as far as, I think this unlocks at 36. This one and this one, the drop table is extremely similar. So if you want to grind out Domain of Forgery, Domain of Mastery for this one, since the drop table is so similar, I think I get like a total of 2 books of these and then 1 of these every time versus 2 of these and 1 of these. You get a little bit less, of course, out of this, but like the amount that you need is much lower at that point, and it's still worth grinding. You can do well without upgrading your talents to the higher tier, but it is definitely worth. So talent books is a very, very good use of resources for Resin because the gains that you get them are static for characters, and it's very valuable to get upgrades. Now, all the time, no matter what, though, you're going to need a large amount of characters to get the Hoarfrost cores, the Hurricane Seeds, etc. These are actually one of the best things you can grind for artifacts as you start getting to higher AR ranking. So should you start grinding these all the time? Well, once you hit world rank 3, you can start pushing them and start grinding them a little bit more heavily, because then you can start ascending more characters, and the ascension materials you're getting will help you get for more characters. Now, if I ever go to like leveling up a character, I want to figure out what they need. You can see Traveler doesn't need those things, but if I need to go to like Chi-Chi, you can see she's gonna need a total of 12 Hoarfrost cores for clearing this. So I need to do a bunch of runs of the bosses anyways for unlocking level 70 to level 80. So you're going to need to do the same if you want to do that. So I recommend farming lots of bosses between 30 to 35, 35 to 40, etc. to get all the materials you're going to need. You could actually wait if you want to all the way till 40, but I'm probably going to wait till 40 because I just don't want to spend the resources for leveling up a character between 60 and 70, because I showed this in previous videos, but the amount of Mora that you need in order to just get a marginal, like even like halfway, is probably like over 200,000 more per character. So that's a really, really tough thing. Now, the thing that you're not going to want to grind, and you probably shouldn't grind at all, is the Mora. I only grind Mora, by the way, if you're between AR 30 and AR 35. You only grind it a few times there, and then I spent the rest of my Mora, my resin on 35 plus. Now, with the resin refills, a lot of people have asked me, hey, should I be spending my resin refills? Well, the value you get out of your resin refills as a free-to-play player increases with your adventure rank. So when your world level increases, the value of your resin increases because you get more out of it at the higher ranks. But just know that your progression becomes kind of stilted, and you actually slow down in your progression because of that. And there are things that you can do in the meantime, like, which I'll go in a different video, that will help you progress even further. Of course, the other 2 things that you have to do every single week, no matter what, is going to be Lupus Boreas, Dominator of the Wolves, and of course the Storm Teller Lair, and trying to get both of these done. Now, I do have clears of both of these every single week, and if you do hit, what I would recommend is doing them closer toward the end of the week, not toward the start of the week, because if you do them toward the end of the week as a newer player, what happens is your world rank could possibly increase, and you could unlock another tier, and then you could get increased drop tables. And because I waited on the first week to actually clear any of this, I actually waited till I was adventure rank 30 to clear Storm Terror for the first time. And because I waited, I was actually able to use the I think the level 3 version of this, which is the current version I have right now, and actually get the higher rarity stuff and get more drops and better drops. So I was able to get better stuff because I did that. So if you do push up very, very quickly and you're able to in a week get to like adventure rank 30, then you're doing these near the end of the week will definitely save you a weekly run. So definitely consider doing that. So I want to preface this. I'm a content creator, and what I do is I have to refresh my resin on the daily because I make content for you guys, and I use all my resin refreshes really early on, and I urge you guys not to do the same. It wasn't really a mistake that I made. It was a choice that I made because I know I need to do content. Because I'm a content creator, I have to continuously push and progress and do different things. So it costs me more resources to the same thing that would cost for you. So save your resin if you can. You don't need to push your adventure rank too quickly. Your basic goal on adventure rank at this point is to get to AR rank 35. You don't really need to get past that point. Everything you do past that point is pre-farming for the next 1.1 update. So just make sure that if you're just starting out or you're trying to like progress, what you should be using it on is things that will help you progress. All right, guys. Well, my name's Sekapoko. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it was helpful to you. Hope you guys got something out of it. Again, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about what you guys use your resin for, what you guys want to do, especially throughout the game. Have a great day, guys. Peace.